What font workspace? You see, I have only P, C, M, T, and W.
But you had a fun one, and it's gonna show up in the
That
video
was in the
because
past.
huh?
Only if you edit it. Only if you edit it.
Mhm.
On M is music. F
Mhm.
is like fun. C is like chat
Fun. We
applications.
know what that means. Just don't
No, it's
switch to
not that.
that one. Just don't switch
I
to
will
that one
switch to
because
it on.
he probably has like two videos split screen, one next to each other, and just
I'm not gonna.
man. So what are we doing today? My good friend WhySoSerious from Discord joined me to talk about aerospace. But I just want to know first, WhySoSerious? Why are you using aerospace and why aerospace and not Yabai?
Well, that's actually easy because I first started using Yabai. A colleague of mine actually introduced it to me, and I was like, "Oh, cool! I actually never used tile managers on Linux before. I don't know why, because I was not educated enough for that." And then I started using Yabai. It was really cool, and I liked using tile managers, so I can open like 3 different applications, and the Yabai will take all the control of the applications and move it all around. But actually, what I don't like in macOS is probably you actually also seen that if you have multiple workspaces in macOS, the built-in ones, if you want to move from one to another, you have 2 options: either to use the trackpad or to use the keyboard. The keyboard is faster because the animation is faster, but again, if you disable animation, even then it's painfully slow to move from one workspace to another. Also, Yabai has an option to actually use the built-in workspaces, but you need to disable SAP, I think, for that.
Yep.
Yeah, I didn't want to do that. I simply didn't want to do that because I don't know why. I mean, I guess
You don't trust
you can
the
disable
developer,
it.
right?
Yeah, I
Basically.
mean, actually, it's not the developer. When you disable CPU, you can be open for attacks. But maybe in the end, it's the same thing. If you know what you're doing, you can disable it.
Yeah, well, you don't need to entirely disable it. You need to partially disable it so that Yabai can do a few things. I don't know if you
Yeah,
need
I
to
think for
have.
work. Yeah, I think for workspaces, you actually need to disable completely. I think. I'm not
Well,
sure. Maybe I'm now guessing.
I disable it partially, but because I wanted to have transparency. And I'm not using transparency anymore. So if you look at my screen right now, the transparency that you see is the ghosty transparency. So now what I'm doing is that I moved ghosty to its own desktop number 2, and
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
managing the
workspaces.
yeah.
Yeah,
I'm using the Mac workspaces, but I do understand that switching between workspaces is really slow, but why do we need to do that, right? So notice that I'm here on desktop 2, right? Only
yeah.
Ghosty is on desktop 2. On desktop 1, I have my browser, right? So if I switch to the browser with the keymap, I don't see any animations or anything, right? If I switch to Ghosty, you notice that it's really fast, right? So
Yeah, because you're not switching actually workspaces, you're switching applications because of that it's faster. Yeah.
yeah, but
But what
why would
happens if you
you?
have like 10 different applications?
Mhm.
You have to have then a key bind for every different application to know where it is.
The ones that I use the most, but I do have like, yeah, 10, maybe a little bit more that I use all the time. But I can get to them, really fast. I don't have to think, I don't have to search, nothing, right? So browser, terminal, in any other application, the exact same way. But I do get it. You need to memorize a few things. But in the long run, it's going to be way more effective. You're going to be way faster if you do it that way. And you can avoid the animations, right? But that's
Yeah.
just my way of working, I guess. I want to see how you use Aerospace. I want to understand what your workflow is.
I'm using Accordion layer. That's similar to what you're using, one application at a time.
Mm-hmm.
If you see, I actually have two on this workspace. I have two with all the windows open. Let me switch to tiling. As you can see, you can have this like
Mm-hmm.
tiling,
Mm-hmm.
and you can switch from one to another, or you can have Accordion.
So how do you change it with
Yeah.
keyboard shortcuts? You switch between the modes.
Yeah, this is Accordion, this is tiling. This is Accordion, this is tiling.
Okay.
And for Accordion, I actually disable it so I can see only one application at a time. I will show you. Let me just show you. Accordion. Yeah, padding. That's what I need. It's set for 10. You can see you can hide the application completely, or you can have a padding to see the next application that is behind it.
Okay, makes sense.
But actually, you can if you want to click on it or something like that, if you want to use your mouse, you can actually set it, and you can see a little bit the application that is behind it, or you can disable it like I did.
Yeah, I don't like to have that padding there because it's just gonna use space on my small laptop screen. But it's an option then. Okay,
Yeah.
so that's what makes it look like an accordion then, right? That padding.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, so Aerospace has what is known as workspaces. Is that right?
Yep.
Or okay, so on each space, I'm sorry, you can switch between accordion and tiling mode, right? Or does it change it for everything?
You can set the default one. So the default layout is styles for me. Maybe I actually should probably change this to accordion. But if you set, for example, if you go to workspace P, and I set here the accordion layer, and then I go to workspace T, and I create another one, the default one is styling, but you can change the default to be accordion.
Okay. So you can.
But it remembers your configuration until it's closed. If I say this is accordion, it will now be always accordion.
Only for that workspace, right?
Only for that one, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, Aerospace actually creates virtual workspaces, and it actually hides. If you see, I'll only have one desktop, the built-in macOS desktop, only one, and it actually hides all the application in a corner. I don't know if you can see bottom right corner over here where my mouse is. You have a little bit. You can see a little bit of the application.
Oh,
2 pixels.
Yeah, I think like a small line, like a
pipe. But you actually have
symbol.
to look for it to see. Yeah, over here. That's actually probably Vivaldi hiding there.
Okay.
But you actually need to actually really focus on that thing to see it. I actually don't see it in everyday use.
Yeah.
At all.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. It's not distracting at all.
The cool thing about Aerospace that I like is I don't need another tool for keymaps. For example, it has built-in keymaps over here. Like if you want to Alt P to do workspace P, it will do that. It doesn't matter. It isn't only Aerospace commands. You can actually do all terminal commands over here from Aerospace. You can do something like this. Alt Enter is exec, and forget to open terminal app.
Okay. So it's
you can do
like
custom key bindings there.
Canada, right? You can execute stuff directly from Aerospace.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like Canada or what is it called for Yabai, that third party one?
skhd.
Yeah, something like that. Yes.
How do you use Aerospace? Like, what do you usually do? Like, what's your workflow?
So my P workspace is usually personal stuff. Personal browser for YouTube and everything. C is usually chats. So WhatsApp, Signal, Viber, Telegram, whatever people use. I don't know anymore. M is like secondary monitor. I'm actually using that on my iPad display currently. C is my terminal, and W is everything related to work.
And what happened to the fun workspace?
That was actually the personal one, but I don't use it anymore.
Why?
I need small numbers of workspaces. I had too much.
Oh, I know what happened there.
Better organization.
Yeah. So you know that is gonna show up in the video, right? Your fun workspace. I don't know what stuff you do there, but okay, man.
What fun workspace? You see, I have only P, C, M, T, and W.
But you had a fun one, and it's gonna show up in the
That
video.
was in the past. Only if you edit it. Only if you edit it.
Mhm.
On M is music. F is like fun. C is like chat
Fun?
applications.
We know what that means. Just don't
No,
switch
it's
to
not
that
that.
one.
Mute.
Just don't switch
I
to
will
that one
switch to
because
it on.
it probably has like two videos, split screen, one next to each other, and just.
I'm not a good
Man. Do you use tiling mode or accordion mode? How do you use it normally? Like,
I normally use accordion mode more often, but when I need it, I actually use tiling.
mhm,
Sometimes when I need to see two different things at the same time.
mhm.
Maybe API documentation or something in the web, and I need to do it in the NeoVim, and I open terminal and my browser in the same workspace, and I compare. Actually, not compare, but I keep them side by side, so I can read and do code.
Oh, okay. Okay. So you just switch between. Yeah, it makes sense. It makes sense using it in accordion mode all the time, and only when you need it in the other mode in BSP, right?
Yeah.
Let me just show you how I use it. And what I want to do in this
Sure.
video is to try to install it so we can see what happens. I don't know if it's just gonna be a complete fail or not, but I'm just
I don't think so. We can actually mimic all your work thing.
okay. So I use it in stack mode, right? Because Yabai has two different modes. BSP, which is the tiles. I don't get the purpose of tiles. I have asked many people. I don't get it. I do understand that it looks cool because you can like partition your screen, right? And have a lot of apps, but they're small, so it doesn't make any sense at all. Where
Yeah,
it
I
makes
think
sense.
tiling actually more makes sense in Linux, because Linux, yeah, in the when you tile application there, you can actually make it so small, like, and it actually can be placed on the screen. I saw actually that in macOS some applications have a minimum space required. You
But-
can not resize it to be really small.
But what would be the purpose of that? Like, why would you want to have an app so small that you can barely read, right? Like, I do understand skitty notes, right? Which is the app that I have here on the right.
Yeah.
Makes sense that is small because it's designed that way, right? For it to be small and for it to be just in this specific area of my screen. But when using tiles, why would you want them to be so small, right?
I don't know.
Yeah. So I guess tiles are just cool, basically, but not functional.
Probably, yeah.
That's my hot take there. But I do understand in the specific scenario that you talked about web dev, right? You need to have two screens, one on each side. You can use tiles there, right? But two.
Yeah.
More than two?
Yeah.
I don't think it makes
Maybe
much sense.
3, but more than 3 is too much. Everything gets really tiny on the screen.
Yeah, I agree on that. So the way that I use it is all of my applications here, right? So Ghosty, browser, those are the only two that I want to show right now because I don't know what I have on other applications. So I just switch between all of my, look, I didn't want to show this. Hold on. Oh, no, I'm not showing it. Okay, good.
No, I still see, I'm still seeing only Vivaldi and Ghosty.
Okay, so I just switch between them and they occupy the entire screen. Basically, this section of the screen. This other section here is reserved for skitty notes because I want to see it all the time. So this is basically the padding section, the right padding of Yabai. And I think you figured out the way to do that in Aerospace, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that's amazing. Now, for people that don't know what's happening and who you are, just to add a little bit of context, I'm going to drag this chord to the screen. So WhySoSerious is in Discord all the time, helping other people, sharing a lot of useful stuff. So do you have a YouTube channel or something where people can find you, WhySoSerious, or
I only have my GitHub.
it's your GitHub? Okay.
Yeah.
So in your GitHub, you have your dotfiles, you have your Aerospace
Correct.
config, right?
Yeah.
You mind sharing that on your screen?
Here it goes.
Okay. So
yeah, I need to probably do another README file because this is probably old. But actually, it's pretty simple to install it. I don't know why will someone want to use my whole config, but they can scavenge it.
Yeah, well, I'm pretty sure that a lot of people will want to see your Aerospace configuration, right? Because I don't want to go through the Aerospace documentation and installation, so that's the purpose of this call. Let me first see if I have it installed. I don't know if I do have it installed or not. Through list, I think it is. Yep. Rip Aerospace. No, I don't have it installed. So let me just try to do that first. Man, I just remapped everything.
Yeah, I know that. Because of you, I moved actually my num row to the home row. And I'm actually clicking a lot of my function keys instead of my number keys.
Yeah, and yesterday I switched. I used to have backspace here on this thumb. This was my backspace, but now this is space and this is backspace. So I just have to, instead of, backspacing, I'm just adding spaces. It's just gotta get used to that.
My backspace is actually a combo. So when I press U and I get backspace. It's easier for me that.
Oh, like
two buttons at the same time.
Okay.
Yeah, Accord.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I switched a lot of stuff to chords right now, but 2 key chords were causing issues, right? Because especially if it's characters that you use in words commonly. You and I together, how often do you type that? You and I, not too much, I guess. Right?
I think, yeah, it can be a little bit tricky, but I think at least ZMK has some config option to not to disable it, but I cannot remember what is it called. Let me find it while you try to install Aerospace.
This is the install command, I guess, right? So
yeah.
Okay. So I noticed that, I had a lot of 2 key chords, a lot of them. They worked fine. But then when I was typing AL, right? I had a chord for AL or AS. That is something that you type a lot. So it was triggering the chords, right? Because I don't know, maybe I roll my fingers too much. I don't know. But I moved all of the chords to 3 keys. And the trick is that I don't want to be doing like 3 keys like this, too difficult. So I'm just using space. Space is one of the keys for the chord, and then, two key chords, basically. So they're 3 keys, but space is always one of the keys, right? So I can type a chord with this hand. Space is always on my thumb, right? Or I can type a chord with this hand as well, which I also have space here. And that fixed the issue that I had with chords.
You can switch to my.
Let's see. Let me switch to yours. There.
ZM key has this require prior idle milliseconds. If you press any non-modifier key within that range of milliseconds, it will not trigger the combo.
Yep.
Probably Katana has some.
Yep.
Kanata has something similar to that.
It does. It does. Where is it?
You just need to dial that in. That's the problem.
Yep. It does have that as well. I tried it, but it didn't work quite well. I don't know if it's the macOS version or what, but I just decided to go with 3 key chords. I never had a problem again. But okay, this is installed now. I have to disable first.
Yabai. Yeah.
Yabai. Yeah, I have to stop it. Now, I have, okay, the stuff that I don't want to show. Hold on, where is it? Okay, so here on these 2 desktops, just have a few things. It's fine. I just have 3 apps basically. The rest of them are on my other monitor. So I'm not sure what's gonna happen when I stop Yabai. Let's give it a try. And Yabai stop service. Let's see. Okay, everything's still in place. Okay. Now
I'll try to run Aerospace. That's gonna probably
mess everything up
around.
Now,
yeah,
I don't know if Aerospace is going to bring the applications that I have on the other screen to my main screen, and I don't want that. Should I configure it first?
Yeah.
What if we try to configure it first?
Yeah, that's probably a better solution.
Okay, so do you remember, do you need to create a symlink, or where does the config file live?
Let me check because I have that in the install script.
Maybe
in the .config file, in the .config directory.
Okay, but I need to create it, right?
Maybe you already have it.
No, I'm looking there. Hold on, let me just switch to my screen. I don't have it.
Yeah, you probably then need to create Aerospace directory and then Aerospace.toml, I think the extension is.
Okay, let me see. What does it say here? All this time, when I stopped Yabai, I thought that I was sharing my screen, but I was sharing your screen.
Mine.
So
yeah.
Okay.
You're safe there.
In 2 locations, in the home directory, and it falls backs to that config location.
Yeah. I like to keep all the configs there.
Yeah, I like to keep them here too. But I'm wondering if it saved it here. No, it didn't save it there. I'm just going to create it here then. I'm not going to do the symlink at the moment, so I'm just going to do it in NeoVim. So it has to be called aerospace.toml. It's a hidden file, I think, right?
Yep, I think. No, yeah.
Yep. Okay. Let's see what happens. Now, instead of grabbing the default config, I think it's a good idea for me to grab your config, right?
Sure.
Your dotfiles. Star, 6 stars. Let's see if we get any stars from the video. Okay. Aerospace. Now, what other stuff do you have in here? Because I need to migrate over to SketchyBar. If you notice, my SketchyBar is still
I have that too.
The Bash.
It's in Lua. Yeah, it's in Lua. Yeah.
But did you have to rewrite? Because I have a lot of custom scripts in here, right? Like this Ethernet one, if I'm connected to Ethernet, it shows me this icon. But if I'm connected to Wi-Fi, shows me a Wi-Fi icon. Or if I'm not connected to any of the two, shows me like a Wi-Fi icon, but with the slash, with the, you know, just letting me know that I'm not connected to the internet at all. Like,
yeah, you probably need to rewrite those in Lua, everything. I did that, but it's like For me, it's easier than using Bash because
What?
NeoVim is
Mm,
in Lua,
yeah.
SketchyBar is in Lua, Vestrum is in Lua. What else? I think I have something else
And me
in
on the
Lua.
other side, I'm more used to Bash because I do a lot of servers,
Yeah.
scripts in servers. So I don't know. I don't know. What I'm wondering is if I can make it look the way that yours look with my Bash configuration, or if I need to switch to SBAR Lua.
Or Aerospace to show the workspaces on the above. You talking about that or?
No, because your no, I'm sorry, your sketchy bar. Your sketchy bar looks
Okay.
different than mine.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that design comes with the Lua version, because look the way that mine
No,
looks.
you can actually do that in Bash. I actually had everything in Bash before I moved to Lua.
Okay. So maybe you can help me another day with the design, with the looks.
Sure.
I just want it to look more. Well, no, I like the way that it looks now, but I want to have two options, right? But we'll see. We'll see. Okay, so here's the entire config. Should I
Yeah,
copy
the cool
everything?
thing, you can. You can.
And then we can
Actually,
clean it
yeah.
up.
Yeah. That's easier.
Okay. After login command, you don't have anything there. Okay. After startup command.
You can probably set that to empty array too, because I use that to start SketchyBar so I don't need to start via brew services.
Okay. Just gonna leave it commented. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, what
The
about
external
this?
on the workspace change, we will probably need to modify that for the skitty nodes. So you can leave that for now as it is. We'll come back later
Okay.
for that.
Okay. Start at login. I think it makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Okay. What about this flatten containers? You remember that?
Let me check. I think you should actually leave that as it is because that's probably how will be transform the root directory. Yeah, leave that for like it
Okay.
is. I think you don't need to.
Modify.
You don't
Okay.
need to modify that.
I'll leave those two there. The padding, we already talked
Yeah,
about
you
that.
think? Yeah,
Yep.
I think
I'll
you
leave it
need
off.
0 like Yabai.
Yep. Definitely. Now, tiles. Okay. This is what you mentioned, that instead of
Yeah. Tiles, you need accordion.
okay. Accordion. I don't know if that's the right way. Accordion.
You have above possible values, tiles or accordion.
Here. Yeah, I didn't know if I was typing it correctly or not. Accordion. But you have the two options here, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Default root container orientation. I'll leave it there for now, I think.
Yeah. If you want to move it to vertical horizontal, but you're not using tiles, I think.
No.
Yeah.
Sometimes I will use tiles. Okay, so that determines if the tiles are going to open like this or like this, right?
I think yeah. Auto
Okay.
means wide monitors gets horizontal orientation. For tall monitors, it will get vertical horizontation.
Okay.
Oh,
Wonderful.
orientation, sorry, no horizontation.
We get it. I understood. We talk the same language, So now this QWERTY, is that what Mira was talking about yesterday in Discord?
Yeah.
She mentioned azerty or something. What is this?
That's actually how your what keymap do you use? I'm not sure why does she need to rebind, like I asked her in Discord. I don't know if she actually replied, because I'm curious about that, because if you're using callmac, dvorak or whatever, the A key, you know where the A key is regardless of the layout. So why do you need to remap Q to A and something like that?
Okay. I'm just
Because
gonna
you
leave
know muscle memory of that layout.
it. Okay. Now unfocused monitor changed. Okay, so this moves your mouse to the center?
Yeah. You have different options, I think, there. Let me check. Yeah, move mouse commands. Mouse.
But what does this do? Like, does it move your mouse? If I switch to another workspace, it's gonna move
Yeah,
my
it
mouse.
will move your mouse, and it will be in the center of the monitor.
And why did you set it up that way?
Because I'll actually, when I switch monitors, I would like to switch my mouse, because usually I have to click something on that monitor as well. Like if I have a browser in another monitor, I want to click on it. If I don't move my mouse, it will stay on the second monitor, and if I start mouseless, it will be on the first monitor, not on the second, when my focus is.
Okay, makes sense. So then brings your cursor over in case that you need to open mouseless. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I see. Okay. I did configure that option in mouseless as well to follow my mouse, right? So it's going to open where the mouse is. I guess you have the same.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is this? Unfocus changed. Do you remember?
I think that's when you change focus on the windows. If you have two open windows, should your mouse follow it or not?
Okay. When you have tiles, right?
Yeah. Or accordion, it will be in the same place. Yeah.
Okay. Got it. Now, gaps.
Actually, sorry, on focus change, it actually means window or workspace change. You probably need that for workspace too, because if you're gonna change workspace, your mouse has to follow.
Okay. I don't get it, but I don't care. I trust you. Okay.
Okay.
And what about this gaps? What are these? Are these like paddings?
The first one? Yeah, the first two ones are for tiles. How many pixels do you need the gap between the two tiles? Either horizontal or vertical. The next one, left, bottom, and right, is the general padding.
Gaps between tiles and this. Okay, like the outer. Okay, it says there outer. Okay. I get it. Makes sense. Okay, I see. Okay.
We probably need to configure that now, because you said that you need to move your. How much is your skitty nose wide?
Oh, let's see Yabai. Oh no, hold on. Let me switch here. Yabai. No, Yabai. RC. Okay. I have that for my monitor. Hold on. Which one is it? Here.
That's probably padding
230.
right.
Yep. So the right padding.
Yeah, you can copy that there then.
Okay. The 230. There we go. Okay. So which one is it? Here.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. 230. Okay. We're gonna see what happens. Let me set it to something else so we can make sure that it actually works, and then I'll switch it to 230. I'll switch it to 280, but I'll leave here to 30. That I remember that it was 230. Okay. Gaps, outer, top. Okay, so this is the SketchyBar.
Yeah.
Okay, I have that here. The top one for me is 38. You have 47.
Yeah, because my SketchyBar is 37 plus 10 padding.
37 plus 10. Oh. We're gonna see what happens.
Because the SketchyBar height is 37 and I added 10 more.
Oh, so you leave padding, right? If I switch to your screen, let me see. Okay.
Because, yeah. Let me show you.
Oh, you have that padding in between.
Sorry. Yeah. Because, yeah, currently it's 42 because Aerospace is actually calculating from the top of the screen.
So that small gap that you have in between, is that?
Yeah, that's actually 5 padding. If I do this and I restart it, let me. Did I restart it? No. Yeah. You can see the padding disappeared.
Okay. Yep. I don't want to keep padding there. I did have padding in the past, but yep. I'll try to leave it without padding for now, and we'll see what happens. Okay. Monitor secondary. What is that?
Yeah, that's actually a really cool thing. You can actually set padding depending on your monitor.
Okay.
It has a built-in regex for checking the monitors. You see, you have display resolution. You have to check the display resolution there in order to have different paddings.
Yeah. So it's this basically, right? So okay, this one, is 10 for me as well.
Yeah, you have built-in monitor. I think built-in. You have secondary. You have primary. The built-in is actually your MacBook monitor.
Okay.
The laptop one. The main one is the one you actually connect to your MacBook, and the secondary is you have a second monitor.
Okay, I don't. I just have the main monitor, which is
or the laptop one.
Okay, so my main one is the external monitor, the one that I connect to the laptop.
Yeah.
So that's good. That's the main one here, right?
Yes.
The built-in is the MacBook one. So yeah, I set the padding to 10 on that in Yabai. So I guess I'm good here, right?
Yeah.
I don't have a secondary monitor, so just gonna comment that. Did I add this 20 or was it there?
It was. That is the default value. If Aerospace doesn't match the built one, the main one, or the secondary, it will use 20. You can delete that.
Okay, makes sense. So just gonna comment it for now. We have this mode main binding.
Yeah, Aerospace has different modes. Similar, like, I don't know. Did you use what is it called? It's not. You have keymaps and the other one, Zellige.
Yep.
Yeah, Zellige has like modes. If you want to go to paint mode, you click 2 buttons and you're now in paint mode and you do everything with paints. Then you exit the mode and enter another mode. The main mode is binding mode. No binding. Sorry. The main mode is main.
For Aerospace.
Yeah, it's the default one, like normal in NeoVim. When you open a buffer, you're in normal mode. You're not in insert or visual mode. So the main mode, you actually set your keybinds here. What do you want to use for switching to workspaces, moving focus, moving windows to different workspaces, resizing, or whatever you want.
So this is the mode that I'm setting. Binding, and I guess there's other modes as well, right?
Yeah.
Binding, and what else?
There's service mode, I think.
I don't see it here.
It depends. The syntax is mode, then the name of the mode, then binding.
Okay.
So the middle thing is the mode name.
Okay, this is then okay. So I guess there's main and resize.
Yeah.
I guess those are the only two based on what
you
I
have
see here.
As many modes as you like.
Oh, so you define them.
You define them.
Oh, so these are not like predefined modes. You can type whatever you want here for the mode name. So what differs is what you configure here.
Yes.
Okay. And what is this then? Like, these are like the keybinds, right? Is that
correct?
What this is? Okay.
Yeah. Alt/ and Alt comma is used to change from tiles to accordion layout.
Okay.
And vice versa.
Alt/ sets it to tiles, vertical. Oh, hold on. Tiles. What does it say? Why does it say here horizontal and vertical?
Because if you're already in tiles layout, if it's already horizontal, it will switch to vertical. If it's vertical, it will switch to horizontal.
Oh.
Because of that, you have those two, both of them.
So you can toggle. I get it.
Yeah, toggle between them.
you can remain in the same mode tiles,
Yes.
but just switch between the horizontal or vertical layouts using the same
Correct.
keymap, alt/. Okay, makes sense. Alt comma is for accordion mode. So I switch between the two modes with these two. Okay, where's my slash? Here. Where's my comma? Here. So I think it'll work because they're in my main layer on my keyboard. Okay, what is this?
So that is for switching focus on the current active windows that you see on your screen. For example, if you have two tiles
Let me
that
switch
are
to your
left
screen.
and right. Sure.
Let me switch to your screen. Hold on. There.
Let me change these two. What is wrong with my keyboard now? Okay, when you have two tiles, the one that we see, I think, is Command Shift. Yeah. If you press Command and Shift and press, let me see, H and L, I think it's left to right. Yeah.
Mhm.
You move focus from the now from the right window to the left one, from the left one to the right one.
Okay.
Or if you have up and down, then you go up and down. It's only
Makes
for
sense.
switching focuses on the windows.
Okay, makes sense. And I have noticed that people usually have borders on their screen when they have tiles, right? Have you seen that the one that is focused, they have it with a border? Do you know if that's
Yeah.
possible with Aerospace?
Yeah. Actually, let me see if I have it installed. I think I have it.
Oh, is that JankyBorders? I think.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Those services. Yeah, I have.
You have it. Let's see.
And if I now do another window, yeah, and it works.
Okay. And how do they talk to each other? Like, how does Borders know which well, just
I think
on the focused app, right? It just highlights the focused app, like the one that is focused by macOS, I guess.
Yes, it probably uses accessibility API for that. I think, I'm not sure.
Okay, but if you switch to the one up, it changes.
Yeah, it changes.
Okay, cool. Okay, so let's see. What else do we have here? This is to go to full screen for an app. Okay, what is this? Is it? Oh, okay. Let me guess. This is just to switch between the last two applications, right?
Correct.
Okay, I use that a lot. I use that in Tmux. I use that in macOS. So if I type, now it's the letter Z for me, right? Previously, it was this control down here. But since I'm not using this row down, now if I press Z, it's going to switch to the other app, which is OBS. Hold on. If I switch here, Ghosty and Vivaldi. Now, if I type Z, it's just gonna switch between those two. I'm doing that with Canada, but I guess I can do it in Aerospace. Okay, good to know.
Yeah.
And what do you have down here?
Okay, the Command Shift M and S is to move to different monitors. You can actually even do that if you have two monitors. Move my focus to the main monitor, move my focus to the secondary monitor.
And this is to move applications to different workspaces. Yabai, no, SketchyBar workspaces, right?
Let me check because I cannot remember. I don't actually use that much often. Control Shift. Oh no, it's to switch positions of the.
Oh, okay.
Of the windows.
Let me switch to your screen. There.
So if you want to move the bottom one to the up, use that.
Okay.
Or left or right.
Okay, makes sense. Okay. Okay. Now, what is this? Resize Smart.
Yeah, this is gonna be really tricky to do with one hand because I didn't use this very often.
That is the problem of the ferris sweep keyboard, guys. That's why you
It's
have
not
to
the
use
problem.
a
No, it's
corn.
not problem with the keyboard. It's problem with with the keymap.
That's why you have to use a corn or something with more keys.
What did I do? I did something wrong. Let me try again. Shift Alt and minus. No.
But I guess it will make all of the apps like increase the padding.
Something like this. If you can see.
Okay. Makes sense. Like Tmux, right? When you try to
Resize panes, yeah.
size panes. Okay, makes sense. Okay, great. Okay. Now Alt P is to switch between your different workspaces, right?
Alt O. No, sorry. Alt P is to switch to workspace P.
Okay. Now, does this conflict with the NeoVim? Because I use Alt and NeoVim a lot. Like, do the keymaps conflict?
Probably if you are in NeoVim, then yes. But you can set whatever you want. I'm actually using Alt because Alt is the most unused modifier for me.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't use it too much in NeoVim.
Okay, makes sense. Okay, good. I'll remap these later. What is this down?
While we are here, let's actually change the workspaces that you need, because the defines here that you can see will actually define your workspaces in our space.
Okay.
So how many workspaces do you need? 2, 3, 4, 5?
I need, okay, in the main monitor, I need 2 in my main monitor. I just need workspace 1 and 2. Can I give them numbers?
Yeah, you can do numbers or you can do letters. For me, it's easier to do letters than numbers.
Okay, so in this monitor, monitor 1, I need workspace 1 and workspace 2. And I guess now I cannot use numbers here because my number's in a different layer. But okay, I can do hyper. Do you know how to do hyper here?
Hyper, let me check. I think, well, actually hyper is actually when you press control command
Alt and shift. Yep, all of them.
Alt and shift. You can all add all 3 of them.
I guess this looks good. Hyper, one of these. Okay.
Yeah, you probably now need, if you actually need to change anything below, because below commands are used to move if you want to move the window to a different workspace.
Okay. Let's comment it for now. And
okay.
I'll think about that later. And okay, what about this? Alt Enter.
That is to move from the previous workspace to the current one and vice versa. Similar to the focus, but instead of the window, you're actually using workspaces.
Oh, okay. Okay, makes sense. I'm going to comment it for now. You know what? Yeah, I'm gonna comment it just in case that it interferes with something else. Do you remember what this is?
That is to move workspace to monitor, to move the workspace to the next monitor in line. So if you are on the primary, it will move it to the secondary.
Okay.
I think.
I'll leave it like that for now. I don't think I use that key map. Okay.
Okay.
Alt Shift semicolon. You know what this is?
That is to trigger another mode. So like we said, that Aerospace has different modes similar to like NeoVim has insert mode, normal mode, visual mode. You have to have a key binding for different modes. So for service mode, you can actually call it whatever you like. In my configuration, it's service, but you can name it whatever. You have different now key maps inside service mode while service mode is active.
Okay, so here we have service mode, and everything defined in service mode are just
correct.
You just define key maps, and
yeah,
here I have, where is main mode, right? Here.
Correct.
Okay. And the keymaps, you can define the same keymap in the two modes, basically, right?
Yes.
Okay. And then you just switch between modes and you can use the
Correct.
same keymap in both of them.
Yes.
But they're gonna do different things.
Yes.
Okay. Wonderful. Okay. Where were we? Oh, here. Here. Okay.
Now,
So.
when you enter, now when you enter the service mode, you have different key binds, and you can see that the key bind has two, let's say, two commands. It will first execute the first one and then the second one. The second command means that when the first one is done, go back to the main mode. So you don't have to manually go back to the main mode.
Hold on.
Every time.
Hold on. You lost me there. So let's say, what mode are you usually on? You're
main
in
mode. When you open Aerospace, you're in main mode.
Okay. Okay, it's because I can figure that, right?
Yes.
Okay.
For example, if you want to now reload the configuration, you press the key binding, Alt Shift semicolon, to go to the service mode.
Okay.
You then press Escape key. Then Aerospace will call reload config. And after that is done, it will go back to the main mode.
So it just executes one. Okay, so I'm in main mode, right? But I wanna trigger this reload config, right?
Okay.
This one. So I press Alt Shift semicolon. That is going to put me in service mode, which is here, right? Then I type escape, which reloads the config, right?
Yes.
And then, oh, that's why the comment's here. So it runs this and then switches to main mode.
Correct. If you don't have this, you will have to have another keymap here to go back to the main mode.
Pretty useful, actually. Wonderful. Okay, yeah, because here you just want to do, yeah, I get it. Reload config, do stuff, go back. Okay, and what is this? F layout floating tiling.
So let's say that you have a window and you don't want to manage it with Aerospace, but you want to be floating. For example, let me show you.
Yep.
Maybe that is easier. Okay, you have two windows now in tiling mode, and you want to switch the current one, this one, to be a floating. So it's Shift Command semicolon, and it's F, I think. And now it's floating. It's not managed by Aerospace currently. I don't know why I cannot drag it.
Yeah, because it's a terminal.
Yeah,
so okay.
Yeah, that's the ghost issue. It's not mine.
Yep.
Yeah.
And how do you make it back to managed? Like, if you want to manage it again, what do you do?
I think the same thing. Let me try. Yeah.
Okay.
Same command again.
Okay. Makes sense. So that is the layout floating tiling thing, right?
Yes.
Okay. That was this one. Layout floating tiling. Okay. Backspace. What is that? Oh, close everything except for the current one. Now, you remember what this Alt Shift join with left means?
Oh, yes. Let me show you that actually.
Okay.
Let's say like this. You have three
tiles.
Three tiles, but you want the one on the right and the one on the left. Sorry, the one on the right and left to join them, because you want to split them vertically now. Oh, sorry, horizontally. And leave the third one, the first one, on scrolls on the far left to be vertical, but these two to be horizontal splitting. You have to join them. Yeah, I did it now. Yeah, I did now. And you can be accordion. You can be what is it called? Accordion tiles. It now depends on it.
Okay. I'm not gonna be doing this thing with tiles because I don't like tiles. Like I said at the beginning of the call, I don't find them useful, but it is good to know because there's people that like tiles just because, right? So this information is just going to be available for them. Okay. Now, what else? On window detected. Do you remember what that does? Should I leave it there?
Yes, this is similar to rules in Yabai that you have. If you
Okay.
want certain apps to go to certain workspaces, you can have that here. So when you open the app, it will go to a certain workspace.
Okay. Okay. I do have that here. So if I come to Yabai, I have these that I don't want to bring over to the first monitor because when I enable Aerospace, these are gonna come to the main monitor. I have, here's my desktops, right? Space 1, 2, 3, and 4 in Yabai, right? So
Yes.
everything is on the default. You notice here I have a wildcard, so all of the apps are on the default space. That's my first macOS desktop, right? Ghosty is on the terminal workspace, which is the second screen, right? The second, what is these? What are these things called? Second desktop, right? Desktop
Yes.
1, 2, right? So that is the terminal desktop. Ghosty lives there by itself. Then these, when I'm doing videos, I want to have all of these in desk 4. And desk 4 is in my second monitor, right? So all of these are always in that other monitor because
Yeah.
desk 4 is in the second monitor, right? So how do I configure that? Is that what we do here?
And the funny thing is, if you want to get the app ID, I think you have to run Aerospace to see what the app ID is. But we can cheat a bit.
Mm-hmm.
We can add a wildcard like you did,
Mm-hmm.
and move everything to the second display,
Okay. Okay.
and then only move, because I think you actually have Ghosty there already.
Ghost.
Yeah, you have app ID for the Ghosty. We can leave Ghosty on the main screen and move everything on the secondary screen, and we can slowly after that move every app to the according workspace.
How do I define monitors? Like,
For that, you have go to the bottom of the file.
the very bottom?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So I have, how many did I create? I created
4.
one. Okay. One. Hold on. Man. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4, right?
You don't have, yeah, you don't have the fifth one.
Okay. Now I want this to be in main. So secondary is the name of the monitor, right?
Correct.
And where do you define that name, like secondary?
That's built in.
Okay. Okay. But
You
hold on.
actually you can use. Let me find it.
Because
Monitor.
main is my external monitor, right? Main is my external one. The secondary for me is the built-in, which is the laptop. So should I use built-in there?
It actually depends, because if you open your display settings in macOS, which of the two monitors is selected as primary or main?
Main is my external one. This.
Yeah, you can use secondary because the main string in Aerospace, it will always point to the main one from there.
Okay. So I can leave the built-in display. That is the
Yeah.
secondary for me at the moment. So I
Yeah.
can leave it as secondary and it should
Yes.
work in theory.
Yes.
Okay. So I'm gonna create 4 workspaces. Did I set 4? Yeah, 4. And the 4 is going to be on the secondary. So that is 4. Okay. So here then, hold on. I changed it. No, hold on. There. Okay. So here's where the assignment comes, right? I want to move everything to workspace 4 for now, correct?
Correct.
You know how you can do that? Like,
Okay, you can use different things. So, for the on window detected, you actually have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 5 options. You have if app ID. You have that's an exact match of the app ID.
okay.
You then have if app name regex substring. Then you have if window title regex substring. So you probably need to use app name regex substring to move everything, and just say star.
Okay. This one.
That one.
Okay. And where's star? Star is here. Okay.
And
So-
delete the app ID.
Okay. So
And find ghosty.
here.
Yeah. Set that to move to workspace 1, for example, because
2.
that's that or
Yep.
2. Yeah, 2. Sorry.
Mhm.
Now I think everything should work.
Okay. I'm going to delete the rest of these because I don't think I need them. All of them are gonna go in theory to the workspace 4, and ghosty
Except
is
ghosty.
gonna go to workspace 2. Okay.
Yeah, Ikiti nodes will probably disappear. We will bring that
Okay.
after.
Okay. So I think it looks good, right? In theory.
Yeah, in theory. Let's try it now.
And we're gonna see what happens. Just hope. Yeah, I didn't. Okay. Now, how do you start Aerospace?
You actually run it like an app.
Oh, okay,
So,
okay.
Yeah.
Here.
Yes. Fingers crossed.
Let's see what's gonna happen. Okay, accessibility. Okay. Where is Aerospace? Here. Okay. This. Now. It's running. But it has not started, I guess. Or has it?
Try to move the ghost terminal.
Let's see if I move this. Yep, it's not managing them yet.
Okay, start it again. Probably
Okay,
had to quit.
because of the accessibility stuff, right?
Yeah.
Aerospace. Okay. Something
Okay,
happened.
now it's... Yeah, okay.
Okay. Kitty is still here. All of the other applications are the other screen. Okay. So
They
hold
are.
on. Let's see. Let me see. Okay. I still, yep, it moved
Yeah.
to the other. Okay, so oh, but you know why Kitty shows here? Because I pinned it in macOS. Hold on.
Oh, you actually can do that in macOS.
Yep, you can. So if you come here, options, you just assign it to all desktops. So that's what shows.
Oh, that's actually good to know. I mean, there's a way to do that in Aerospace currently. But you can actually leave that there, right? Huh.
Yep.
Yeah, that's cool. We can actually not manage it, and that's it.
Okay.
You can now bring Ghosty back to workspace 1.
Okay, let me see. Let me just close Kitty. And if I open Kitty, let's see what happens. Why does it open here again? Let me see.
Because, Kitty, I don't know.
I don't know why it opens here It shouldn't. But it does open here. Do I have a rule? Let's see. Aerospace.taml. Now, the name of your aerospace file, is it .aerospace.taml?
Mine is actually aerospace directory, and then inside is aerospace.toml inside config directory.
Hold on. So
Try that.
yeah, let's try that. So it's the
Dot
aerospace.
config. No,
Yep.
go to the dot config.
Yep, in .config, then
Create
aerospace.
aerospace. Then create
Directory.
aerospace directory, and then move without the dot aerospace there.
That could be it. Ambiguous config error. Several configs found. Okay. So, okay. I see what's happening. So there's a config in the desktop. It created a config in the desktop. And that's why, okay.
Oh, okay.
Because it didn't find this one. It never found it. Okay, so let me delete that one. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, look at this mess. So, I don't see anything. Where's my... Gonna switch to this other tmux session and oh, here. Aerospace, that's how there. Let's see what happens now. So it wasn't starting because of that. I'm gonna quit it. Okay. Now, Ghosty.
Go to workspace 1. That's I don't know, Alt Shift Control V.
Let me try to move Ghosty here. What happens? Okay, Ghosty is here. So
okay, even the padding is good.
Yep. The padding. Okay, let's see. What happens if I make it smaller? Okay, so it's working. I got this message right now. So
yeah, it's running in the background.
For people watching, the issue was that I had aerospace in the wrong directory, the config file, right? So it has to be in that config. In there needs to be the aerospace folder, and in there, the aerospace.taml file.